Pat stood with his hands on his hips, watching Chan lift two large suitcases into the trunk. One of them belonged to their sister, the other to Rin. He asked, a little unsure, "You've really thought this through?" Rin felt it was best to give the three siblings a moment to themselves, so she excused herself and went to wait in the car. "Anything that might help us beat Mind Space, I'm willing to do," Akbab said.
We know that.
"But I meant you and Rin going off together, just the two of you," Chan added, a little concerned.
Why?
"Is there some kind of issue?" No. The second brother quickly waved his hands in denial, already feeling intimidated when his sister raised her brows at him. "Well then, good luck. Hope you find the idea you're looking for." Akbab gave a small nod, said goodbye to her brothers, then got into the car, leaving the two men watching her off, chatting lively as they did. "What do you think's going on between our sister and Rin?" Pat asked. "You still need to ask? With that much chemistry, what else could it be?" Chan had no idea how to label the relationship between Akbab and Rin, not when the two hadn't given any confirmation. But if he had to casually call it in today's modern terms, it would probably be a situationship. At the very least, it's definitely more than just boss and subordinate. Akbab's car pulled out of the parking space, and as it reached Pat and Chan, the driver's side window rolled down. "No one can find out about me and Rin going to Japan, especially not at the office."
Got it?
The brothers exchanged questioning looks. "People there gossip too much. I don't want anyone making up stories while I'm gone." "What are you so worried about? It's not like you're doing anything wrong," Pat said, still not quite understanding his sister's reasoning. But it wasn't just about avoiding gossip. Akbab didn't want to explain how she'd used her own money to cover the trip, not to mention the risk of the news getting out to the competitor. You never know who's listening or watching.
True.
"No one would think anything of it, unless you were up to something shady," Chan added, backing Pat up while also leaning in to softly tease his sister so Rin, now seated in the passenger seat, wouldn't hear. That earned him a sharp tug on his collar and a fierce glare from Akbab. With a captain like this, no wonder the crew says whatever they want. "If I come back and even one person knows about this, you two are dead meat." Chan swallowed hard and raised both hands in surrender, nodding to promise he'd keep his mouth shut. Pat also lifted 3 fingers like a scout's oath to swear he wouldn't say a word. Akbab narrowed her eyes at the two of them, and once she was confident they wouldn't spill the secret, she drove off toward Suvarnabhumi Airport. "Fee, you look tense. Is something wrong?" Tirtiz asked as she stepped out of the bathroom and saw her girlfriend typing furiously on her phone, shoulders stiff. "The same stuff as always," Vi replied, wrapping an arm around Tirtiz as she leaned into a back hug. "My family needs money again. How much? I still have some savings." "No, this is my family's problem. I have to take care of it myself." "Well, if it's about your family, then it matters to me too. We have to help each other. And I only mean to lend it, not give it away." Tirtiz smiled warmly, trying to comfort her. "Is that okay?" Vi looked at her with a mix of gratitude and guilt. "I'm sorry, Tirtiz. Don't be too hard on yourself. You're not alone, you know? And honestly, I'm really glad to see how much you love your family. Just imagine how much love you'd give me if we ever got married." "Thank you, babe. How's the renovation project for Mr. Rain's house going, Mind?" They asked the moment he walked into the meeting room, where Mind and Vi were already waiting. "V's team is handling it right now. We're almost ready to show the first draft." "Give it your all." The young man turned to speak to Vi. "In this project, we've got to beat Jinta again." Vi felt a sudden wave of pressure. It made her uneasy. Eventually, she voiced her concern. "What about the resort project I'm also handling?" They didn't get to respond, as he had to take an urgent call. Mind stepped in to give the answer instead. "Right now, Dee wants you to focus on this project first. Let someone else take over the resort for now, so you can give Mr. Rain's house your full attention." "Yes, Miss Mind," Vi replied, not exactly thrilled. Though Mind assured her she'd be there to help, it only eased her worries a little. "Is Miss Akbab not coming into the office again today? And Rin, too?" "Oh," Akbab went to jaw dash. Chan was about to blurt it out, but Pat jabbed his elbow hard into his side to snap him back to his senses, so he quickly covered it up before blowing their secret. I mean, she went back to take care of something in Japan, right, Pat?
Yeah.
Some errands or something like that. Curtis didn't think much of it.
But
What about Rin? Is she calling in sick again? She just asked to be left alone for a while. Said she wanted to think through Mr. Rain's project quietly on her own. Well, lucky her. In that case, I'll take some time alone too, Chan said, trying to take the opportunity to slip away. But he didn't get far before his older brother grabbed him by the collar. Don't even think about it. You and I still have a pile of work to finish. Damn, why's my big brother so sharp? Chan grumbled in frustration before the two of them fell into a quarrel, like children who never grew up. The staff nearby could only rest their chins on their hands, watching their bosses with exasperation. It was hard to believe the company felt this hopeless after just one day without Akbab. Rin and Akbab were standing in prayer at Hakusen Shrine on a hill that offered a view of the Wakado Bridge. The atmosphere was calm and cool beneath the budding trees, with barely another visitor or tourist in sight apart from the two of them. You're taking your time, the older woman said with some curiosity, seeing Rin stand with hands pressed together and eyes shut for a long while. She figured the girl must have had a very long wish list. I was wishing for our project to go exactly as we hope, so I had to focus hard, obviously. Rin's serious expression made Akbab smile, without realizing it. The girl finally ended her prayer with a clear voice. Please let everything go smoothly. She bowed in closing, wrapping up her ritual for good luck. Hey, I was thinking, Rin said as she gave one last look around the shrine before leaving. I bet Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink believe in Japanese gods and rituals. Akbab raised a brow. Why do you think that? I saw a paper like this one in Mr. Rain's office. Maybe it came from a shrine like this. Rin pointed at the omikuji, the fortune slips often found at Shinto shrines. Akbab opened her notebook and scribbled something down. What are you doing? Making a note. We might use this later. Maybe even include it in Mr. Rain's project. Here, I'll sketch it for you. Rin eagerly took the notebook and began sketching the row of omikuji tied to the rack, while Akbab watched with admiration. In just a moment, the note was complete. After finishing their prayer at the shrine, Akbab and Rin continued their route to other places. While they were walking and taking photos, the older woman finally spoke after a long stretch of silent thought. How do you think Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink fell for each other? By chance. Random encounters are always the start of the most romantic love stories. You're over the top. Akbab chuckled at the dreamy look in Rin's sparkling eyes. What do you mean over the top? It's true. Rin wrinkled her nose before cheering like a child when she spotted an ice cream shop nearby. She kept begging for some until Akbab gave in. The older person got herself chocolate mint, while Rin chose pistachio. They sat down on a public bench by the seaside walkway, with a clear view of the red brick former Moji Customs office across the water and the blue wing Moji Bridge. Did you know? Mrs. Mink once said she never thought she'd fall for Mr. Rain. He wasn't her type. But the more time they spent together, the more she liked him. Akbab turned to look at the girl beside her, suddenly noticing that her features were surprisingly striking. Everything seemed to fit together. Somehow, the girl looked prettier than she'd remember. Is it possible to fall for someone you never meant to love in the first place? What do you think? Akbab didn't answer. Her eyes had drifted down to Rin's talkative lips, and her mind went blank. All she could recall was the memory from that night. Before she knew it, Rin had taken her hand, the one holding the ice cream, and wiped away the melting cream. It's dripping everywhere. You eat like a kid. Akbab's pulse quickened. She felt herself too close to the girl. Clearing her throat, she pulled her hand away and took the tissue to wipe herself. She then stood up, trying to mask the strange flutter that was ringing to her ears. Let's go check out the bridge. Rin nodded and followed Akbab. They kept walking toward the Blue Wing Moji Bridge to get a clearer view. It was the largest pedestrian drawbridge in Japan. It lifted to a 60-degree angle 6 times a day. Legend had it that the first couple to cross after the bridge came down would stay together forever. From the details she learned, Rin wondered if this was the place where Rain and Mink had fallen in love. What if this is where they fell in love? She murmured, making Akbab glance over with a raised brow. What do you mean? Maybe Mr. Rain was coming from this side, and Mrs. Mink from that. Then they happened to meet right in the middle after the bridge was lowered. Rin recounted her vivid imagination to Akbab, but left out the part where she had secretly cast herself as Mink and Akbab as Rain. In that version, their conversation sparked because Rain was taking a photo of the Kanmon Strait and accidentally captured Mink in the frame. When they realized they were both Thai, the conversation flowed naturally. Mink didn't mind appearing in the photo. In fact, she asked to see it and complimented the shot, then requested Rain send it to her. So, then they'd have to exchange contact info. Wait, wouldn't that make Mrs. Mink seem a bit too forward? Not at all. She's the one who said she made the first move. This is nothing. Rin still happily continued her fantasy. But I think Mr. Rain would be the one to ask for her contact info.
Something like.
Sure, I'll send it over. Could I get your IG? Akbab shook her head with a laugh. You're ridiculous. That's not ridiculous. It's called having imagination. The two of them kept walking toward the former customs building across the water, unaware that they were about to be the first pair to cross the Blue Wing Moji Bridge after it had just come down. Grandma, can I get a photo with you for reference? It might help spark some ideas. Akbab narrowed her eyes, clearly unconvinced by the excuse about work, but let Rin move in close anyway. The younger girl lifted her phone and snapped a smiling selfie of them together. Oh, and give me your IG too.
I'll follow you.
I keep my account private. Then just accept my follow request. Not that hard. I'd rather not. I don't like mingling with people. What people? It's me. Me, your coworker. The award-winning girl you said you wanted on your team. Hello? Rin frowned as she hurried to catch up with Akbab, who had already walked ahead to cut the conversation short. The two crossed the bridge and reached the other side together.